And joining us now from Tel Aviv is Marc Schulman, a columnist for Newsweek. Marc, thank you for being with us. There's a flurry of stories in the media about just how bad the relationship is between Joe Biden and Benjamin Netanyahu. But Biden is leaving in just a few months. And how important is this relationship for Netanyahu, especially at a time where, you know, what happens now is very different from just even a few weeks from now or even a few days from now?
It's a difficult question. Look, the personal relationship may be less important. The relationship with Democrats is more important. In other words, Netanyahu had a very poor personal relationship with Obama as well. And that's had an effect, let's put it that way, in support among some Democrats for Israel. It's important to have good personal relationships, but I don't think Prime Minister Netanyahu has good personal relationships with practically any leaders in the world right now. That's the reality. He doesn't have personal good relations with almost any Israeli politicians. So, you know, over the years, he's managed to fight with almost everybody. So personal relationships are important. They're good. But more importantly is the national relationships. It's, you know, when Kamala Harris was asked on 60 Minutes, she was asked, would you consider Benjamin Netanyahu a close ally? She rephrased it and said that Israel was a close ally, not Benjamin Netanyahu. And as long as Israel is a close ally, that's really what counts more than anything else. It's a shame that Gallant didn't go. Maybe he will be going tonight. I don't know. Gallant seems to be the one person that the American administration trusts, speaks his mind, and keeps his word. And that's also very important in international relations, that certainly amongst allies. Now, Israel has some good reason to be a little bit concerned. I mean, the American administration should not have been publicly telling Israel not to attack the oil sites, not to attack the nuclear sites, even if it believes very strongly it shouldn't. That should have been done privately, and if they want to, very strongly. But why tell the Iranians that Israel's not going to attack them because the United States has told them, and so they can put more defenses in other places? That makes no sense from a military standpoint. And I think Israel has good reason to be worried about leaks in Washington, not that Jerusalem doesn't leak itself. So the relationship is a relationship of friendship and quite a bit of tenseness between them.
And would you say that Israel is likely to just go ahead and do what it wants in relation to Iran, or does the U.S. still have much of a say in how this response should unfold?
It has its say. You can't say Israel does what it wants. Let's keep in mind we're dependent at the moment on U.S. arms. We need, if this war keeps on going, we need resupply from the Americans. We need the United States' veto in the UN. We can't go directly against what America wants, at least not in the big things. I mean, killing Nasrallah is something else altogether. And yes, we changed the strategic balance in the Middle East. Listen, if you could guarantee that we take out all of the nuclear program, put it back 5 years, then Israel should go ahead and do it without the United States' blessing. The problem is I don't think Israel believes it can do that, and therefore doesn't want to risk losing American support. So it's going to be a difficult tightrope. You know, we have to follow our own instincts. We have to follow our own interests. On the other hand, we have our own problems. I mean, one of the things, you know, if we saw from the book that came out, one of the things that angered President Biden is, what is your strategy? And I think most Israelis would be asked the same question. What exactly is the strategy a year into this war? So the United States sometimes is interested in its own interests. Sometimes I think President Biden is interested in Israel's interests when he asks, what is the strategy? Because I think we all want a strategy. And we have to balance the two, and we have to balance between political interests and national interests. And we have to hope that all of our decisions are made based on strategic interests. I mean, Biden has his own political interests right now. The last thing the Democratic Party needs right now is we're in a full-scale war, but much more of a fighting war in the Middle East. I'm not even sure how that's going to affect the elections, but probably won't affect them in a good way. I think the issue of the oil fields has nothing to do with the elections anymore, because at this point, if the price of crude oil goes up, by the time that it's felt at the gasoline pump in Nevada, the election will be over. So I don't think that's really an issue. But overall, a major crisis is not what the Democratic Party needs right now, 3 weeks before the election.
It's also not what Israel needs right now. Another one.
Absolutely
on top
not.
Of it.
A year is long enough for all of us. That I'm sure we can all agree at this point.
All right, Marc Schulman, thank you very much for your analysis.
My pleasure.